Okay, let's talk about the Epstein Files. For years, that name has kicked up a massive storm of rumors and speculation. But now, with millions of pages of documents finally out in the open, we can start to move past all that and look at the documented truth. At the absolute center of this whole story is one burning question. For years, the idea of this secret client list has fueled a whole universe of conspiracy theories about who was really caught up in Jeffrey Epstein's criminal web. And the theory was a powerful one, right? That Epstein wasn't just a sex offender. He was a blackmailer who was using this list of powerful people to protect himself. This belief also fed the idea that his death in 2019 wasn't a suicide, but a murder, to silence him and protect everyone on that list.
But the reality that investigators actually found was a lot less like a movie plot. There was no secret client ledger. What they found was his black book, which was really just a massive but pretty standard contact directory. As one journalist put it, that whole mythical list was kind of a red herring that distracted from a much more complicated truth buried in the actual files.
So we've touched on the myth of the client list. Now, to really get the whole picture, we're going to look at the political battle to get these files released, what was actually inside them, the global fallout from all of it, and then the really big questions that we still don't have answers to. The journey to get these files out into the public was, well, it was a whole political saga. It was full of high-stakes promises and some pretty shocking reversals right on the national stage. It all started with a campaign promise, which led to this very public announcement from the new Attorney General in February 2025. She basically confirmed, yep, I'm personally reviewing this stuff because the president told me to, which of course got everyone's hopes up for some huge revelation. And then bam, just 5 months later, the administration did a complete 180. The Department of Justice put out this memo saying there was no client list and that no more documents would be released. It was a stunning and really sudden reversal. Well, this reversal sparked a massive backlash. Congress was not having it, and you had a big bipartisan pushback that forced a vote on the Epstein Files Transparency Act. In the end, President Trump signed it into law, which legally forced his own administration to do the very thing it had just said it wouldn't. So what did all that political fighting actually manage to uncover? Well, the information didn't just come from one single place. It kind of trickled out in stages. Yeah, it came out in these waves. First, you had court documents from the Ghislaine Maxwell case, then a huge leak of emails that journalists got their hands on. After that, the House Oversight Committee started releasing documents, and then finally you got the huge document dumps from the Department of Justice. Each new release added another shocking piece to this crazy puzzle. And the sheer range of what they found is just staggering. I mean, the files had a draft federal indictment from 2007 that was just never used, and proof that his connections to powerful people kept going long after his first conviction. But maybe the most tantalizing thing, emails that show his lawyers were actually talking about a potential cooperation deal with prosecutors just days before he died. The impact of these revelations was felt way beyond the United States. It triggered immediate, widespread consequences all over the world, from high-profile resignations to brand-new criminal investigations. Get this, just 2 days before he was found dead, Epstein signed a new will. It directed his huge fortune into this thing called the 1953 Trust, and the main beneficiaries were his inner circle, his girlfriend at the time, Karina Shuliak, and his longtime lawyer and accountant. And here's where the contrast is just so stark. While his trust set aside almost $200 million for his associates, his victims weren't mentioned in the will at all. A completely separate restitution fund had to be set up later by his estate, which eventually paid out $121 million to his many, many victims. This just goes to show you the truly global reach of this whole scandal. The files led to high-profile resignations in Slovakia, the UK, and Sweden, and kicked off new criminal investigations into human trafficking all across Europe. The fallout was absolutely massive. But for everything the files did reveal, the release itself was deeply, deeply flawed. In a lot of ways, it just created a whole new set of troubling questions, and actually caused immense harm to the very people it was supposed to bring justice for. 43. According to a review by the Wall Street Journal, that is the minimum number of victims whose full names were exposed in the document dump, many of whom were minors when they were abused. The problem was just faulty reduction. Because of some simple technical screw-ups, all this information that was supposed to be blacked out, we're talking names, social security numbers, bank details, even uncensored nude photos of potential victims, was easily recoverable and made public. The reaction from victim advocates was, as you can imagine,
pure horror. Attorneys for over 200 of Epstein's victims called the release an unprecedented and catastrophic failure, a re-traumatization on a massive scale.
And beyond the redaction mess, the files left us with other really profound mysteries. Surveillance logs mentioned an unidentified orange figure near Epstein's cell the night he died. The DOJ admitted there were 6 million relevant pages, but only released about half of them. And thousands of the pages that were released were just completely blacked out, which leaves all of us wondering what is still being hidden.
So this is the central paradox of the Epstein Files, isn't it? Millions of pages were released for transparency, but the release itself was so full of devastating errors that it hurt the victims all over again. It raised even deeper questions about competence, about unexplained events, and about the millions of pages we still haven't seen. Which leaves us with the ultimate question: have we actually unraveled the truth, or have we only just scratched the surface?